guys, I've been waiting a while for this one, for the weather to break. This is the Gamo Swarm Bone Collector. And I just had to have it. I've only cut the tape. We're getting ready to open it. There's the box. The box itself is 4 foot long, so this is going to be a big one. Nice stuff on the package here. That's what got me to get it. It says it gets up to 1,000 feet per second with 22s, but using alloy pellet. So we'll see how optimistic this thing is using Gamo pellets and then select pellets. Take a look. A scope also with it. A 3x9x40 is still sealed in the package. Let me get it out of the plastic. This is nice. Look at the wood on this. I'll have to bring it up to you. And there's your bone collector stamp in there. This wood is very nice wood. I really like the finish. It's supposed to be fast and you can use it for hunting. I'm going to do the first part of this video, which is the performance part here at home, and then I'm due to go up to my in-laws farm where I'll have a little more open range to shoot at 50 yards. Get started on this now because I got a lot of testing to do with different pellets. Just got done with the first 4 pellets. Let me show you something over here. I was shooting into my backstop here, which is usually very strong, and these things started going through the other side. They started blasting through all the way. 4.1 still, so trigger pull on this one is 4.1. Hope you guys enjoyed this special artwork I made. I tested so many pellets I needed a bigger format. Plus it needed to be painted up pretty special. So let's get into the numbers. The Crossman hollow point averaged 775 feet per second. Kinetic energy was pretty good. Standard deviation was 9.2. The Gamo red fire, which I think is made sort of for like the Swarm, it was an average speed of 751. And look at these foot-pounds, 19.3 foot-pounds. Ties for the most power of my air guns, a standard deviation of 12.3. The Gamo rocket, it average speed is 764, kinetic energy of 18.8 foot-pounds, standard deviation of 15. The H&N Barracuda, average speed was 607, kinetic energy went down 17.3, the standard deviation was still 10. JSB Exact Jumbo, which did super great in my Crossman 3622, didn't do so great here. Average speed 668, even though it's fairly light. Kinetic energy then went down, and standard deviation wasn't anything special. I ran the Crossman Piranha simply because of its shape. If it hits the target, it's gonna do some damage. It had an average speed of 742, 17.5 foot-pounds, and standard deviation 17.8. The JTS Dead Center, average speed was 557. It'll go down. The standard deviation, though, was 2.1, so this one may have some promise. The trigger pull was 4.1 pounds. So there you have it for the stats. Now we're going to run it at 25 yards and see what the groupings are. Just finishing up on my group testing. The last group will be the JTS Dead Centers. I've done all 7 different kinds of pellets, so that means I've done 70 shots this afternoon, and that's not a couple warm-ups, so we're well into the 200 shots I've shot with this already. We'll take the best group, and I'll use that as the one for actually zeroing it. It's a little off to the left on all of them, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal zeroing it. I'm just picking the groups. I'm shooting at 25 yards. I've got it magnified on 8, which is great for 25 yards. You can really see it clearly. You can actually watch the pellets go in if the light hits at the right angle. Let's go down there and take a look. There's all 7 pellets. It looks like the best was the first one shot, and that's the Gamo red fire. That's a nice grouping. It's off to the left. Then we had the Crossman hollow point. Other than this here wasn't that bad of a grouping. The Barracuda match, we had some issues there with standard deviation because those bottom pellets, that's a different velocity. Had the GSB exacts, they did not do as well with this one. Not sure why. Ammo rocket, I could have predicted that due to a pretty high standard deviation, and you can see that's basically just different velocities. And here you have the one that really surprised me was the Crossman Piranha. That's right here. And then we have the JTS dead center. We got a couple flyers here. I don't know, that for the cost of that particular pellet, I don't think it's going to be worth it on this one. There were several surprises in there. I'm not sure why, even though its standard deviation is a little higher in the hollow point, it was a very tight grouping. Here, aerodynamics. I wasn't too surprised with the rocket. The Barracuda was about what I expected. This was a disappointment. This was a huge surprise. The Crossman Piranha, the numbers would not indicate that it would do that well. And the JTS dead center was a huge disappointment. I don't know how it could have a 2.1 standard deviation and be all over the place like that. Sometimes they just don't work with that particular gun. So the cut for the farm will be the Gamo red fire and the Barracuda match. I'm thinking because of that, the weight on that, it might actually do better at a greater distance, and it's close enough. The 2 other heavier rounds are too spattered. I don't see where they're going to do any better the farther out. The bone collector is now zeroed at 25 yards using the Army's 25-meter zeroing target. Made it a very slight adjustment, and all these are there. Everything's in the black, or at least touch the black. I'm satisfied with that. I'm leaving it a little high because I'm thinking that the pellet trajectory will go down as you go out further, and I'm going to keep it zeroed at 25 yards, but we're ready to go to the farm and move this on out to various distances past that to see where it starts, where it keeps its effectiveness and where it loses. There's one other test using the Gamo red. It's a penetrating round, but it has a plastic tip. At 25 yards, it does not penetrate the propane can. I'm going to use the H&N Hornets, which are expensive. They're roughly the same weight. The rate is 15 grains and this is 16. Let's see what happens with 3 shots using the Hornet on that can from 25 yards. Let's see what we got here. Here are the 4 shots from the Gamo red flight. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see they hit with a lot of punch, but they didn't break through because you got that plastic tip. In fact, I think that's residue from one of the hits. Here you have the 3 shots from the H&N Hornet, which has that metal, I think it's a brass alloy. See, the lead part of the pellet stopped cold, but that sabo part went on through. That is a very nice pellet. The only problem is, of course, it's not cheap. I'm on my in-laws farm, and so there's no sense in shooting for you the 25-yard marker, but I've had to re-zero it a little bit because all the bumps on the road. There's the zero, 1, 2, 3, and then zeroed. So we're good. Well, I'm shooting from this shed here, and I'll turn around here. Out there, yeah, the 50-yard target is out there. I will turn around and zoom on it. Same location, and you can see it as I zoom in. It's got a little crosshairs. I've shot a couple already. It was a little close than I thought, so it seems to be doing good so far. You can see there's some breeze out here, so it might throw it off a little bit. 16 mile an hour, gusting to 27. Here's your main grouping here. Then we got some flyers. The wind had picked up and the cardboard was actually bending forward. As the wind picks up, it impacts these pellets quite a bit. Same phenomenon as a baseball when the wind's blowing in or out. I'm surprised it kept that well together. Let's try the H&Ns from 50 yards to give me an idea before I start shooting at a little more expensive targets. Okay, I aimed here. It was that high, and then it adjusted fine given the wind. That's not a bad group. There was 2 flyers. I'm not disappointed with that at all. The wind's blowing, but we're going to try this anyway. We got the Dirty Bird target at 50 yards. Clock's a-ticking. Well, guys, it turns out that it's windy on day 2 out here too, so I decided I don't think I'm going to get the great shot group because of the wind. What I've done is I'm shooting at one of these at 45 yards. I shot the first one, it was way low. Then I shot the second one. I use it as a marker. Basically, even at 45 yards, I'm getting about a 6-inch drop using the Gamo red fire. I shot 8 pellets. So let's go take a look. You can see where the target is bent down from the wind, so let's go up and take a gander. Well, you can tell which one's hit. Oh, it finally went down. I did not do that either. That's not too bad at 45 yards. This was that, so your group is here. Yeah, you're going to get flyers from the gust of wind, but the rest of it is decent as far as I'm concerned. There's only a few flyers. You could still work it in the winds at 45 yards, maybe 50. From the farm in Missouri, it did all right. In lower winds, it'd even be a tighter group, but even in high winds, it was respectable as far as I'm concerned. So the overall impression is it's a very pretty gun. Works good. You could fire all day with this thing. That's about it for this video. I really like this. This is a good collector's one, and it works pretty well. You could definitely use it for hunting small game. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please press the like button and subscribe. I would appreciate it. It always helps. So we'll see you on the next video.